I originally planned to save this particular topic when I got around to talking about Shadow Generations, but since that's taking a while and stuff keeps happening around that video, I think it's best to make this while also making sure to mention it whenever I do get around to doing that video. I have not been a fan of how Sega has been handling their ports recently. Not quality-wise, but more so the delisting part is what I want to focus on. Sega has been on a roll with releasing remasters, which isn't necessarily the bad part. The portion of it that is bad is when they use the remaster as an excuse to remove older or other ports of that same game, essentially funneling people to the remaster by force, which no, it should be up to us to decide, because if we don't like the fact that they changed the dialogue, for example, when it wasn't necessary like they did in Sonic Generations, which is the reason I haven't really touched the remaster at all, or that they changed the voice actors as they did for Yakuza recently, or they changed something related to the gameplay, just plainly making it worse to play, like they did for Sonic Colors Ultimate. Even something simple like that is an easy turnoff for people. So having the original there, we could at least go, well, at least we can still play the original, but when Sega or any other company delists a game completely off of storefronts, they're taking away the only other legal way to get it. Not only is it bad from a consumer point of view, because they're eliminating choices, but it's also bad for preservation, because that version of the game is just essentially gone, unless we get it through an alternative method, which most people are going to put that much effort to do, as the general public just wants an easy, accessible version. And trust me, Sega or pretty much any other company does not want us doing that version of events. But the thing is, we don't really have to go that route. Sega doesn't have to go that route. They can just leave both up and encourage people to buy the remaster instead of an outdated port. That's the thing though. If people are choosing an older version, regardless of any improvements, quote unquote, that you may add to the new one, then it kind of speaks to how you're failing to attract them by the remaster's merits. So that should say something about it. And this mostly came about because of the Christian Whitehead mobile ports, which aren't available anywhere else separately. And now they're going to get delisted, so the official only way to get these things is through Sonic Origins. But they literally had no reason to take them down. Literally none. They've been on here for years being supported by ads, and you could even buy them outright for a small fee. I don't like this, man. Just like I didn't like them taking down all the Dreamcast ports they had on Steam. Again, for absolutely no reason, they just decided to, because ever since then, there's been no collections, no remasters, nothing has come of that. So now there's no legal way for you to get these things. So I don't know what the end goal is for Sega other than just being bastards. Another topic I also wanted to touch on was game prices. Specifically, when Pokemon announced that Fire Red and Leaf Green were coming to the Nintendo Switch as standalone titles. Which is great, not only because we don't need Nintendo Switch Online to access it, but we don't need to fight scalpers on this either. So if you just want to play it, you can. You just buy it. That part is great, but what got a bunch of people riled up was the price. Each one of these games costs $20, so a total of $40 if you want both. And I get it, it's much better than Nintendo was doing before, but I wouldn't personally pay that much for GBA games. Nintendo's the only real company that can do something like this, because if Capcom, for example, were to try this, they'd get slapped off the face of the earth and beaten down for trying. But again, I get it. Of course, I wish Nintendo would make better decisions, especially when it comes to considerations of pricing, but I know it's ultimately gonna be up to people who pay for this. I can make my own decisions just like anybody else can. What we need to be doing is trying to get through to Nintendo. Trust me, they can see our conversations, so as long as we are persistent and keep calling them out, eventually something will happen. Like take this for example, I never thought they would sell standalone stuff ever, but here we are. But what I'm not gonna do is go after people for buying shit, because I don't even make wise financial decisions myself. What I can do is criticize Nintendo and bring that point of view up, but ultimately that decision will fall upon you the viewer, to make that decision for yourself. You can take everything into consideration, but ultimately the one that's going to buy this is you. You're going to make that decision whether to do it or not. Would it be great if we could back it up with some action? Like, of course, but it's hard to get people to rally around something, especially video game wise. But to be clear on my opinion, yes, I do think this is mad overpriced. overpriced, just like Mario Kart World. Not as bad as some of the other things Nintendo has been releasing, but much better, which can still be improved eventually if they listen, which I think they are. I just think, of course, this was going to happen. It's Pokemon. They'll sell no matter what. I mean, just look at what happened with Sword and Shield, Legend ZA. Like, it's just Scarlet and Violet. That game was just objectively bad, and people still bought it. So it's really going to take a Titanic level event for the Pokemon company to do something different.